Now, Governor Sarah Palin, you have been inundated with unprecedented and dangerous attacks on you and your family, and you are not a whiner. I know you don't want to be perceived as a whiner, and you're not. I can tell that from personal experience, having interviewed you on this subject from your home in Wasilla. But I have to ask you on a personal level, Governor, these essentially terrorists, and that's what they are, people trying to intimidate you and intimidate your family into standing up and having the courage to fight for what you believe in. Has there ever been a moment when you have at least thought to yourself, is this really all worth it? Should I really put myself and my family through all of this? Should I perhaps just say, you know what, the heck with it, maybe public life isn't worth it, maybe the sacrifice isn't worth it? Has that ever been an issue for you?
That's a good question, John. And, nobody has asked me that. To be brutally honest, yeah, there are some days when I have to ask myself, is some of this worth it? But on the days that are tough, in fact, I had an Associated Press reporter sort of just gleefully asking me about, oh, my gosh, look at how tough it is for you. And she's ticking off the list of things that had been recently said and sort of relishing it and loving these negatives that she got to talk about. And she said, how do you react to that? It's been a really tough week for you. I said, you know what? My son called from Iraq, and he's relatively safe and sound, calling from within the Stryker Brigade. No, it's not a bad week for me. It's a really good week. My son's okay. I get to go home and see beautiful children who are putting up with a lot, and we, as a team, a family of team members, we're doing this for the right reasons. So there are some rough days, John, yeah, but no, it's worth it. I don't want anybody who has a message of this love for America, this desire to help our country, to ever be told and to believe then that they need to sit down and shut up. I cannot sit down and shut up. I'm going to keep speaking for the state of Alaska, for energy independence, for national security, for a stronger economy, for a better America. I will continue to do that, and they can keep taking shots. And I guess I know what I'm in for, but we will continue to fight because we've got our young men and women fighting for us and our freedom to do such every single day abroad and at home.
Now, Governor Palin, you said to Sean Hannity over the weekend that what you've seen from the Obama administration has kind of led you to feel a see, I told you so kind of thing, especially with regard to the issue of socialism and how much socialism we seemingly are getting in an incredibly short period of time. Now, in that interview with Sean Hannity, you indicated that maybe the messaging wasn't all that good. But I'm wondering, how much are two other elements to blame for the American people not getting it with regard to what they were in for in an Obama administration? One, the media coverage, which obviously you and I have already discussed. And two, is it not also possible that huge portions of the American people don't really fear socialism or actually want socialism because they feel like they might benefit from it? Is that not also possible?
Let us hope that Americans don't become comfortable with those ideas of steps taken to lead us towards socialism, because the foundation of our country will crumble. Our country will crumble if we become comfortable with the ideas of socialism. So we have got to make sure that especially our young people understand what our country was built upon, and that free enterprise, reward for hard work ethic, being able to fail or succeed on our own efforts and not expecting big government to come in and control and to take care of us. We have got to make sure, especially that our young people understand what our founding mothers and fathers had in mind for our country, because we are the greatest country on earth. There is no need to apologize for being proud of America, and we've got to get back to our roots. As we move forward, we progress, we've got to stand firmly on that foundation.
All right, in our last couple of moments with Governor Sarah Palin, there's a couple of topics very quickly that I've not heard you speak about, Governor Palin. I have not heard you chime in on the nomination of Sonia Sotomayor for the U.S. Supreme Court, and I'm particularly interested because of the fact that she has been given a little bit more slack because of the fact that she's the first Latina to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court, when you didn't seem to get much slack at all when it came to being the first female Republican on the presidential ticket. What is your view of her nomination?
I think gender, race should not be any kind of test to have to pass. I want to make sure that we have the best justices in the country serving on that Supreme Court. And the way I choose my judges in the state of Alaska, I certainly am not looking through the gender, the race issue to choose the best. Got to get the most qualified experience.
Would you have nominated Sonia Sotomayor based upon what you know?
Oh, I'm sure that there are many, many qualified candidates that should have been considered. I don't know.
All right, last two questions. John McCain recently went on the Jay Leno, formerly the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and he seemed, by all accounts, to go out of his way to diss you by leaving your name off of a list of governors who would be considered leaders in the Republican Party in the future. Did you see that? What was your reaction to that? Have you spoken to him about that?
Didn't see that. Haven't spoken to him about it, but I have great respect for John McCain. I love him. Had a great conversation with him last night. He's an American hero, and I will never say anything negative about an American hero. John McCain is a good man.
I agree with you on that particular point, and good for you for having the courage to do that, Governor Palin. Last thing, you're heading to Reagan National Airport to fly commercial, I guess, back to Alaska, which is kind of, I think, different from the perception a lot of the media tries to portray about you, especially in Alaska. What's it like when Sarah Palin flies commercial?
Oh, it's a blast. It's like everybody else. And we do have one more leg of our trip. I get to stop off, and Piper and Trigg will hook up with me on our next leg, and I can't wait to see the kids. And flying commercial, hey, it keeps you grounded. You know, you're there getting to chat with the people who are these hardworking, good Americans, just like you, Don, just like me, wanting good country and wanting to make sure that government is playing an appropriate role and not getting out of hand.
Well, when are you going to bring Piper here to Los Angeles? I'm sure she'd love to see the sights and maybe take in the Hannah Montana show or something like that. When are we going to see you in L.A.?
Oh my gosh, you know that would be just her dream come true, is anything Hannah Montana-ish. So yeah, that would be another fun place to be. The kids have never done the Disneyland thing, so it would be a blast to get to take them someday.
Well, I know there are a lot of people here that would love to welcome you, and we thank you so very much for being our first guest on the John Ziegler Show, and we thank you for continuing to fight the fight when a lot of people are afraid to do so. Governor Palin, you deserve a lot of credit for your courage.
No, I thank you so much, and for your documentary, too. No, I appreciate that you did not victimize me, if you will, but you stated the facts, and you put so much information in there. That's appreciated. Also, love your teases at the beginning of the show when you're talking about getting ziggy with it. To our Trigg. When Trigg starts dancing around, we're saying, he's getting triggy with it. So I'll be thinking of you next time we're with our baby Trigg.
All right. Well, Governor Palin, I've learned a lot on my screening trips across the country. I'm going to share them with you via email, and we thank you so much for your time.
Hey, keep up the good work. Thanks for your patience in this interview, even as I'm walking.
All right, great job. Thank you, Governor Sarah Palin of Alaska, our very first guest on the John Ziegler Show. I'll talk to you about the real Sarah Palin when we return here on KGIL.